Ever lace up your sneakers and wonder, like, who comes up with this stuff?
Mm.
Well, get ready for a wild one, because today
Yep.
we are diving deep into running.
Absolutely.
This company went from a kind of a crazy idea to a $7 billion
Yep.
athletic footwear empire in just over a decade.
It's pretty amazing.
It is, and trust me, you will not believe where it all started.
It's a crazy story. Yeah, what's so fascinating about On Story is that it really flips the script on how we think about innovation, especially in a well-established industry like athletic wear.
Okay, so we're talking about a company shaking things up with some serious innovation. But first, let's go back to the very beginning. This whole thing was started by a guy named Olivier Bernhard. Now he's a 6-time Ironman champion, a 2-time world champion triathlete.
Wow.
Talk about driven. But get this athletic superstar.
Cap grew up on a Swiss farm.
I love that.
Not exactly the setting for some like high-tech revolution in running shoes,
No,
Ramona.
not where you'd picture it.
Yeah. It's almost like the setup for a joke. A farmer, an athlete, and a garden hose walk into a business pitch.
Wait, did you just spoil the ending? Garden hose. You're telling me this billion-dollar company has roots in gardening supplies?
Yeah, you're going to love this. So Bernhard, he was struggling to find running shoes that kind of gave him like that perfect balance,
Yeah.
of cushioning and responsiveness. And being the hands-on innovator that he is, he started experimenting by attaching pieces of, you guessed it, garden hose to his shoes.
I don't know about you, but I would not have looked at a garden hose and seen the future of athletic footwear.
Right.
But that's the thing about true innovators, right?
Absolutely.
They see potential where other people just don't.
Totally.
So he's got these Frankenstein shoes cobbled together. Then what?
Well, pretty quickly, he realized that his little makeshift solution actually worked. It provided the cushioning he wanted without sacrificing the ground feel. And I think crucially, this sparked a question. Could he recreate this feeling in a way that, wasn't held together by duct tape?
Right.
And that's where his athlete's mindset and his farm-grown pragmatism really converged.
Okay, so he has this light bulb moment. But he's smart enough to know his limits. Like, he might be able to outrun just about anyone.
Yeah.
But building a business from scratch,
Totally different.
it's a whole different beast.
Yeah, you need a different set of skills, for sure.
Absolutely.
Exactly. And he knew he couldn't do it alone. Bernhard often says, don't look at the top, look at what's right in front of you. And right in front of him was the need to build a team, to bring in people with the expertise he was missing.
It's that classic saying, right? If you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. So who did he bring on board?
He teamed up with 2 other individuals who really brought the perfect blend of business acumen and shared passion. First, there was Casper Capetti, his former agent, who knew a thing or two about navigating the world of sports and marketing.
Right.
And then there was David Alleman, the business strategist, the guy with the plan.
Okay, so they've got the dream team assembled. But I'm guessing this wasn't some overnight success story. Taking on the big dogs of the footwear industry. That's no walk in the park.
No, it's incredibly difficult. You're talking about, imagine the footwear scene back then. It was like a battlefield dominated by giants like Nike and Adidas. They were the titans. And then you have
This little startup.
this tiny startup with a crazy idea and a shoestring budget.
Wow.
Yeah, they were definitely the underdog, but they had this like scrappy, will prove you wrong energy.
I love that.
Yeah, that really fueled their early days. And you have to remember, they were going up against these established players,
Right.
with massive marketing budgets, huge research and development teams, like the whole 9 yards.
It's intimidating.
Had to be resourceful and scrappy and maybe a little bit daring to even get noticed.
It's making me think of that scene in every sports movie ever, where the underdog team shows up to the championship and it's like, all they've got is heart and then some crazy game plan. So how did On go from underdog to major player?
Well, they needed a game changer. And they found it in a place that honestly could have easily been a recipe for disaster. The ISPO Sports Gear Exhibition in Munich.
Okay, set the scene for me. So we've got this massive international trade show, hundreds of brands all vying for attention. And then there's On, this tiny Swiss startup with their crazy new shoe technology. Were they even ready for that kind of stage?
Honestly, they almost didn't go. They were wrestling with that classic startup dilemma.
Yeah.
Limited resources, infinite opportunities.
Yeah.
But they decided to take the leap, packed up their prototypes, and drove to Munich with a plan.
I'm on the edge of my seat. What was the plan?
Okay, so they made a pact in the car, focus on just 3 countries initially, Switzerland, Germany, Austria, keep it manageable, build a solid foundation. But then fake stepped in.
Ooh, I like where this is going.
They won the Gold Award for innovation.
No way. Their big break came from them almost chickening out of the whole thing.
Ugh.
Talk about a plot twist.
Yeah.
But winning an award is one thing. Turning that into actual success,
Totally.
that's a whole different ballgame.
You're absolutely right. But this award was more than just a shiny trophy. It was like this stamp of approval from the industry.
Right.
This signal to retailers and consumers that On was a brand to watch. And suddenly, they went from hoping to secure 3 countries to fielding calls from 19 more.
Wow. Okay, so now we're talking like exponential growth.
Uh-huh.
But was their little startup ready to handle that kind of demand?
That's the irony of overnight success, right?
Right.
It can sink you just as fast as it lifts you up.
Oh, for sure.
So they had orders pouring in, but they were still operating on these razor-thin margins. They had to find a way to scale up production manage inventory, and all the while convince retailers who were used to dealing with, like, the big guys, to take a chance on this upstart brand.
I bet that show Don't Tell philosophy came in handy here.
It's one of the things that makes On so brilliant. They knew traditional marketing wouldn't cut it. Like, they couldn't outspend Nike or Adidas, so
Right.
they outsmarted them. Instead of glossy ads and celebrity endorsements, On focused on getting their shoes on people's feet. Literally.
They let the product speak for itself.
Yeah.
So simple,
Yeah.
yet so effective. It's like they were saying, don't take our word for it, just try them.
Exactly. They went straight to running stores, organized demo runs, let people experience that cloud tech technology firsthand, feel that distinctive sensation of landing softly and taking off powerfully. That was their marketing campaign.
Brilliant.
Word of mouth spread like wildfire,
Yep.
and soon was on everyone's radar.
It's that whole if it ain't broke, don't fix it philosophy, right? Except in Anna's case, it was more like, this is broke. Let's fix it with garden hoses. And then show the world how much better it feels.
Okay, I have to ask. Did they ever actually get to outfit those Olympians? Okay, so they went from garden hose experiments on a Swiss farm to like blowing minds at these industry events, to getting their shoes on actual runners. But did they ever achieve that dream of outfitting Olympians?
Oh, yeah. In 2016 at the Rio Olympics,
Mm.
Nicholas Spirig, wearing On running shoes, crossed the finish line and snagged the silver medal in the women's triathlon.
Oh, wow.
Can you imagine seeing your company's logo, the product you've poured your heart and soul into,
Huh.
on an Olympic podium?
I mean, that's got to be like up there on the list of entrepreneurial victories. For sure. Their shoes designed by an athlete, powered by this like crazy innovation, holding their own on the world's biggest athletic stage. What a testament to their vision.
Absolutely. It really put them on the map. It proved they weren't just some flash in the pan, you know?
But what really launched On into the stratosphere of athletic footwear came a few years later. And it involved a certain tennis legend who needs no introduction.
Wait, don't tell me. Roger Federer.
You got it. And this wasn't your typical celebrity endorsement deal. Federer wasn't paid to wear On shoes.
Really?
He was introduced to the brand by his wife, Mirka, who, get this, bought him his first pair.
Hold on. Are you serious? One of the greatest athletes of all time discovered your brand because his wife picked up a pair at the store.
Yeah.
That's the dream.
It's pretty incredible.
It speaks volumes, not just about their product, but also about On's strategy, targeting those everyday athletes.
Absolutely.
Not just the pros.
It's a case study in like organic marketing.
It really is.
Federer was drawn to On because of their technology, their commitment to performance, and maybe, just maybe, that underdog spirit they embodied early on.
Yeah, I love that.
And it gets even better. Federer didn't just become a fan. He became an investor.
Okay, now that's a power move.
Mm-hmm.
It's one thing to have your shoes worn by a global icon, but to have that icon believe in your vision enough to invest,
Right.
that's next level validation.
Exactly. And it wasn't just about the money. Federer brought his insights as an athlete to the table, collaborating with On to design a whole line of tennis shoes. It was a partnership in the truest sense.
So they've got this incredible product. They've disrupted the market. They've got Roger Federer in their corner. What comes next? How do you top that?
Well, remember that $7 billion valuation we talked about?
Yeah.
That wasn't pulled out of thin air. In 2021, On decided it was time to take things to the next level. They went public with an IPO that raised an incredible $746 million.
Oh, that's like handing a rocket ship a whole bunch of extra fuel.
Yeah.
What are they aiming for with that kind of financial firepower?
It's all about expansion. New products, new markets, new ways to innovate and grow. They've already made a splash in apparel. And with their focus on sustainability and ethical manufacturing, they're really poised to appeal to an even wider audience.
So from garden hose experiments on a Swiss farm to a global brand shaking up the entire industry, On's story is inspiring and makes you think, what's the next big idea just waiting to be discovered? Maybe it's hiding in plain sight disguised as some, like, household object, or just like a simple solution to an everyday problem.
I think On's journey reminds us that it's not always about having the most resources or being the loudest voice in the room. Sometimes it's about trusting your instincts, focusing on what you do best, and never ever underestimating the power of a good idea, even if it starts with a garden hose.
And there you have it, the incredible story of On Running, a testament to the power of innovation, the importance of teamwork, and proof that sometimes those unconventional paths lead to the most extraordinary destinations. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive into the world of athletic footwear. Until next time, keep exploring, keep innovating, and who knows, maybe you'll be the one inspiring us with your story someday.